My name is Robert Greener from CTC Ministries International in Albuquerque, New Mexico. All you people out in cyberspace, I have an incredibly important message. Please listen up. It's crucial that you take this message in. This message is going to be based entirely on the Bible. My 15 proof sources for what I'm going to bring forth are taken directly right out of the Bible, so therefore they cannot be refuted. Now, first thing I want to say before I get into this message is, as a person who embraces the Jewish Messiah, Yeshua HaMashiach, from Bethlehem of Judea, look it up, he was born there, he was a Judean, he's a Jew. He's not a Christian, never got involved in Christianity. Second thing I want to bring out is I do not hate Christians. I love Christians dearly. I have a very big heart for them. Years and years and years ago I was a Christian. My whole family were Christians. Now, I love them and I care very deeply, and that's why I'm bringing this message. What's the name of the message? Christianity is a Ponzi scheme. Shocking? Well, I'm going to prove it from the Bible. What's the definition of a Ponzi scheme? A Ponzi scheme is a scam in which a very gullible group of people is enticed with the promise of very high returns in a very short period of time. What could be higher returns to promise than eternal life? What could be a shorter period of time than the small amount of time that we're actually on this planet? The Bible says it's 70, 70 years approximately. That means I'm on the very end of things here. I'll be 69 next month. And I want to prove that Christianity pulls this international Ponzi scheme off by keeping people in the dark. But for the sake of time, because if I did all the proof sources out of the Bible, this video would be well over 8 hours. I want to condense this down, as condensed as I possibly can make it, down to about a half an hour. So if you bear with me, I'm going to have 15 points brought out directly from the Bible to make this proof. Now, first thing I want to bring out is the concept that Christianity brings about grace without the law. This is totally ludicrous, because over in Bereshit, in the book of Genesis, the law. Over in Revelation, let's look at Revelation 22, verse 14. You're going to discuss that and look at that. Look at it deeply. What's it talking about? The law. It's referring to the law. So, right through the whole Bible, the Bible teaches that the law is in place. In fact, if the law wasn't in place, we wouldn't even have sin in the world, because the definition of sin is the transgression of the law. So, of course, the law is in place, and if you disobey the law and break the law continually, you don't have any grace. What you have is a disgrace. So that's the first thing that I've just proved, unequivocally, from the Bible. Second thing that Christianity teaches, which is totally part of a Ponzi scheme, and that's the whole concept of what's called replacement theology, or in other words, saying that Christianity replaces the nation of Israel. Nothing could be further from the truth. As a matter of fact, if you really believe that and teach that, you're calling Yeshua, the Jewish Messiah, a liar. Why? Because he said, I have not come but to the lost sheep of the household of Israel. And he went on to say, salvation is of the Jews. So how can you be replaced in something that the eternal Messiah says are his people? The Hebrew people, the Jewish people. That's all those, whether they're born Jews or whether they're not born Jews, that come into the kingdom of Israel. Look at what Rabbi Shaul, who Christians would call Apostle Paul. Look what he says. He says the natural branches are broken off that you could be grafted in. So you're grafted into the nation of Israel. There's no replacing the nation of Israel. And any system that teaches that is basically teaching anti-Semitism. Third lie, changing the name of the Jewish Messiah to a Greek false name. I want to challenge you. Get a 1611 original King James Bible. You will not find the name Jesus Christ in there. The name Jesus Christ is Greek. We just talked about the fact that the Jewish Messiah was born in Bethlehem of Judea. He's a Judean. He has a Jewish name. He said, I have come in my Father's name His father's name? Yahweh. His name? Yeshua. So he has his father's name in his name. And by the way, Acts chapter 4, look it up. There's none other name given among men by where ye must be saved. So how can he have a Greek name when he was born in Bethlehem of Judea? And in Luke chapter 1, it talks about the name coming down from heaven and being given over to him. And in the original 1611 King James Bible, there's no Jesus Christ name in there. It's all part of the Ponzi scheme. Fourth lie, over 38,000 Christian denominations growing every year. What is up with that? If that isn't part of the Ponzi scheme, I don't know what is. Because Yeshua, the Jewish Messiah, said in John 14, verse 6, he said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. He taught there was only one way. He didn't teach there was over 38,000 different ways to come to him. That's total confusion. That's part of the international Christian Ponzi scheme. Fifth lie. I'm getting there. I'm on 1/3 of the lies already. Fifth lie, Christmas. This is being recorded in October, so another couple of months, Christians all over the world are going to be celebrating something that the Bible condemns. Look at Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 1, and start reading down. What does it say? It says something like this. Learn not the way of the heathen, neither be dismayed at their signs. For the customs of the people are vain. For one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the workman with the axe. They fasten it with nails and hammers that it move not. They deck it with silver and gold. Does that sound familiar? And by the way, Christians have this Christmas tree that the Bible condemns. And then what do? They put these gifts under the tree and they bow down to get the gifts. If that isn't idolatry, if somebody can explain to me what an idolatry is, if that isn't idolatry, believe me, look at the origins of Christmas. Study to show yourself to be approved, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Not only does the Bible condemn Christmas, but history shows that it's condemned. As a matter of fact, New York City didn't even have a police force, but they eventually, in the founding of the city, got a police force because of what? Christmas. Look it up. What I just said is absolute truth. Sixth lie. The pagan festival of Easter. What's that about? If you go over to Isaiah 66, around verse 16, thereabouts, you'll see that the Creator's coming back to put to death those who eat pigs. He's going to put them to death. The Creator is. Put them to death. What's Easter associated with? Eating pigs. What did the Passover lamb come for? What did he say in the book of Exodus? He said, put that blood over the doorsteps and the lintels and the shelter so that the death angel is talking about lamb's blood. Who's the Lamb of Yahweh that shed his blood? Yeshua the Mashiach. So Passover is an eternal festival. It's got nothing to do with Easter. Easter to do with occultic paganism. So there's the sixth lie, destroyed. Seventh lie, Halloween. Do Christians practice Halloween? Oh yes, even much more so deceptive than the people of the world because they twig it a little bit. They won't tell you right up front that they practice Halloween. They call it trick or treat, or not trick or treat. They'll change it from trick or treat to trunk or treat or harvest festival. They'll come up with a lie about it. But if you study the fact that Christians practice Halloween, Halloween was first brought on by Pope Gregory III from 731 to 741. He recognized this day by consecrating Halloween, the chapel in St. Peter's and the Basilica, to All Saints. Some people call that around that time All Saints Day. Halloween, same thing. One big lie. One of the worst possible scenarios. Somebody who supposedly believes the Bible, but they practice something that the Creator totally, absolutely hates. So I think we've done away with that lie. That's the seventh lie. Eighth lie. I'm getting there. Hold on. Hold on to your horses, everybody. I'm getting there. I'm trying to make this concise and clear as possible. Now, what's the eighth lie? The complete disregard for the 7 Jewish festivals, which the Bible teaches are eternal festivals. All of these 7 festivals are going to go on for eternity because the Bible clearly teaches that. Now, how you just do away with them and disregard them in Christianity and bring in the three occultic things, Christmas, Easter, and Halloween. You bring in three devil things, but you throw out 7 festivals, 7 feasts, 7 times a year, that there's 7 feasts that are eternal, that are all related to salvation and the Jewish Messiah. What's up with that? Again, it can only be that that's part of the Ponzi scheme. 9th lie. This is a devastating lie. The food laws have been done away with, which Yahweh indicates that all of these food laws are for our health, and are for our sanctification, and for our purity, and to describe what to eat and what not to eat. The Creator doesn't want people to be unhealthy. He wants people to be absolutely, completely healthy. We are created in His image. He's put a whole book in the Bible about this. Leviticus chapter 11, a whole book pronounces the food laws. And you're telling me that Christianity just says, oh, do away with that. Just eat whatever you want to eat. Pigs are cleaners. They're cleaners. Look it up. They never were food. They never will be food. Clams, lobsters, catfish, eels, all of these types of cleaners, all the different types of fish that are cleaners. Look it up in the book of Leviticus. It hasn't been done away with. Yahweh's word is eternal. He doesn't change His mind. He says, I am the sovereign Yahweh. I change not. Getting into the 10th lie. We're getting there. The whole concept of Christianity itself. Study it. Christianity didn't come about until approximately 300 AD, after deity. After Yeshua, the Jewish Messiah, resurrected Himself to Hashemayim, a thing came on board called Christianity. So in other words, the completion of the book was completely in place. Well, you could say, well, how are those 2 words Christian found in the book of Acts? Well, that's an easy answer. They're found in there because people who were anti-Semites placed them in there. Remember, what you call the Old Testament, what you call the New Testament, which is really the Tanakh and the Brit Hadashah, they were originally written in Hebrew and Aramaic. They were never written in English. And then eventually they were translated into Greek, and then from Greek into English. There was no word called Christianity. The whole concept is a total Ponzi scheme. What's the progression today? 2017. The progression is Protestantism, which are the fake Christianity from the real Christianity, Roman Catholicism, which started in Rome approximately 300 AD. Roman Catholicism, the original Christianity, from Constantine from Mithraism. What's Mithraism? It's pagan sun worship. Mithraism, back to Nimrod in the book of Bereshit, or the book of Genesis. So let's go the progression the other way. Nimrod, back in Genesis, who was a sun worshipper, worshipped on Sunday. Nimrod, over to Mithraism, who were Sunday worshippers. Mithraism to Constantine, who changed the Sabbath from Saturday, Friday night sundown, to Saturday sundown, to Sunday. Constantine was actually acting like the first pope, and then the original Christianity in Rome, Roman Catholicism, and then the illegitimate daughters, Protestantism. That's the progression. So the whole concept of Christianity is a Ponzi scheme. What about the 11th lie? We're getting there. The total disregard of the Sabbath. Do you know that if you totally throw out the 4th commandment and you willfully break it and throw it out, that you're guilty of breaking all the commandments? Do you know that? Christians, don't complain about the 10 commandments being taken out of the courthouse, being taken out of the schools. They've been taken out because you never believed them in the first place. If you would have believed them, you would have been keeping the 4th commandment, the Sabbath. That's easy to deal with. That's part of the Ponzi scheme. And by the way, the Sabbath is a picture of salvation. I don't know if you know that. He created the worlds in 6 days, and on the 7th day, by the way, the 7th day is Saturday, He rested. Why? Because the Creator needed rest? Of course He didn't need rest. He did that for us because He wants to meet with us on that day. 12th lie. The immortal soul. This is almost unbelievable that Christians teach this. The immortal soul in false Christianity teaching, after we die, that we physically have an immortal soul that goes on for all eternity, this teaching violates what the scriptures say. Look at 1 Timothy 6:16. It tells us that only Elohim has immortality. That's what that scripture teaches. Look at 1 Corinthians 15. I think it's 53 to 54. It tells us that we can put on immortality, but obviously we don't have it because we die. We're mortal. Mortal. Remember that. That's why we die. We're mortal. We can gain immortality after our resurrection. See, at the resurrection of the body, Yeshua taught that when we die, we sleep. Look it up in Matthew chapter 9, verse 24. John 11 to 14. Look it up. All throughout the Torah, the Holy Scriptures, we are taught that after we die, we know nothing. Just a few examples are Ecclesiastes 9, 5 to 10. Look it up. Psalms 115, verse 17. Look it up. Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, I believe, teaches that Yahweh formed man from the dust of the earth and breathed into him the breath of life. Now, of course, when we die, that breath of life is taken out and we're putting in a sleep state, waiting for resurrection. And if we're resurrected and have his breath breathed back into us, we have immortality to live with him, right? If we aren't belonging to him, we will have immortality to go to the wrong place, but to go out of existence. And that's where I want to get on to the 13th lie. The 13th lie it's incredible. Eternal hellfire. What Christianity has blasphemed and done character assassination against the Creator, that they would teach in Christianity that the Creator just puts people in hell and has them burn there for all eternity? What a Ponzi scheme. Why did they teach this? Two reasons. Money and control. Control and money. Those are the only real reasons they teach this, because it's very clear. If you look in the book of Revelation, Revelation 20, verse 14, what does it say? And death and hell were thrown into the lake of fire. Isn't that interesting? Hell goes out of existence. It gets thrown into the lake of fire to be totally, absolutely, completely done away with. So this occultic, demonic teaching of Christianity that hell will go on for all eternity and people will burn in hell for all eternity is such character assassination against the Creator, who loves us and then even in judgment will put us out of existence if we're not willing to obey him and love him and care about him. 14th lie. The rapture. That's totally...
One.
Yeah, so the rapture, I mean, that is so easy to disprove. It's not even funny. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you how easy it is to disprove. You know, the fact is that the Creator has resurrected himself, but if you go all through the Bible, what does he do? He always reaches down to mankind. We cannot go up to him. We can't attain to him. Even in the flood, he made sure there was an ark for the saving of 8 souls. Millions of people died. He always protects his people on the earth. All through the Bible it's taught that. The rapture is not taught. As a matter of fact, the word rapture is not even found in the Bible. It's part of the Ponzi scheme. How long has this false, occultic, demonic teaching of the rapture been around by Christianity? Less than 400 years, by the way. You can look it up. Just go all over the internet. There's proof sources that, and by the way, one of the first ones who started the rapture was a teaching from a woman. What does the Bible say about teachings from women as far as real teachings? Here's what Rabbi Shaul, who you would call Apostle Paul, says about that. He says, I never allow a woman to teach or to usurp authority over a man, but to remain silent in the called out assemblies of Yahweh. He says that very clearly. The original teaching of the rapture came from a woman, and then it was brought on by who? The Jesuit organization in the Vatican. Of course they promote it. Of course they promote. Christianity promotes whatever false lies it can promote to keep. And by the way, Tim LaHaye and some of these other characters, different people have written books and they've done movies, they've done things. Millions of dollars are being made on this Ponzi scheme of the rapture. Look it up. Investigate it. The rapture's only been around for hundreds of years, not thousands of years. It's a complete farce and a complete lie from the pits of hell. I'm on to the 15th lie, and then I'm pretty much going to leave it up to you guys to do your own research. The 15th lie is the mark of the beast, that it's supposedly a physical mark put on the Bible. That's so ridiculous. There's no physical mark put on the Bible. Look up in Revelation 14, verse 12. What does it say? It says something like this. Here is the patient of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments and the faith of Yeshua, the Mashiach. I'll say that again. Revelation 14, verse 12. Here is the patience of the saints, and here are they that keep the commandments of Yeshua, the Mashiach. Right after warning about that, what does it say? It says about warning about having the mark. They're told that they are to do what? Obey. And it says that those who are not obeying have what? A mark. What's their mark? Their mark is total, absolute, complete disobedience. That gets back to what I said in first lie. Grace without the law. The breaking of the law. In other words, you supposedly said this prayer, let me get this right, to this guy by the name of J.C. that never existed. Look in the 1611 King James Bible. He's not in here, the original. He's a Greek god. Our Messiah was born in Bethlehem of Judea. He was a Judean. He's a Jew. So you supposedly say this prayer to this false Greek god that never existed. And you're supposedly on grace. So therefore you can do whatever you want to do. You can break the law. Totally false. Now, I'm pretty much finished except for another thing that I need to repeat. I don't feel that I'm any better than anyone else on the face of the earth. I'm not saying these things to bash Christians. I love Christians. I'm saying these things to reach out to them, to get them to investigate these things themselves, and hopefully, just like my wife has been delivered from Christianity, just like I've been delivered from Christianity, just from millions of other people are getting delivered from Christianity, think about turning away from an occultic Ponzi scheme that keeps you in bondage with lie after lie after lie. And don't forget what I said at the very beginning of this. I would have to speak for over 8 hours to bring out all the lies of Christianity. I love Christians. I hate the Institute of Christianity because it's demonic, it's occultic, it leads people away from the Jewish Messiah, and it leads them into a false belief system. If you want to contact me personally, again, my name is Robert Greener. I'm the founder and director of an international ministry called CTC Ministries International. My office number is 407-431-2694. My email address is CONNEXIONS at hotmail.com. Connections@hotmail.com. My website is https://committed. COMMITTED. The number 2. Torah. TORAH. Counseling. COUNSELLING.com. Committed to TorahCounseling.com. I challenge anybody to get to me and ask me and prove to me that the 15 points that I brought out today, number 1, are not true. Number 2, the fact that they are true, what are you going to do about it? And number 3, show me that Christianity is what the Jewish Messiah who was born in Bethlehem of Judea, show me that he actually got involved in that, when the fact is that it didn't even exist. Again, remember, he said, I have not come but to the lost sheep of the household of Israel, and went on to say, salvation is of the Jews. He didn't say salvation is of the Christians. He said salvation is of the Jews. Search it out. Be a Berean. Get back to me. I will try my very best to get back to anybody and everybody who really wants to legitimately look at this and contend with this. And let's sit together and let's talk together, open the scriptures, and so that you can teach me and prove to me that the 15 things that I brought forth, the 15 proof sources that I brought forth to prove that Christianity is a Ponzi scheme, is untrue. Love you all. Hope to see you out there in cyberspace sometime. Be blessed. In the name that is above every name, the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, the Jewish Messiah from Bethlehem of Judea. Look it up. Be blessed.